Huh. Hey everyone, my name is Sean Arnold, and hey, have you heard about I Am Setsuna? When I first saw I Am Setsuna on the PSN storefront, I was taken aback. The multiple screenshots, lengthy trailer, and display of the Square Enix logo evoked a feeling that was oh so familiar. This is just Chrono Trigger, I thought. For those who aren't aware, Chrono Trigger is a Japanese role-playing game which was originally released on the SNES back in 1995. It was created and conceived as a collaborative effort between Hironobu Sakaguchi, the father of Final Fantasy, Yuji Horii, the father of Dragon Quest, and Akira Toriyama, the father of Dragon Ball. Chrono Trigger has received critical acclaim worldwide and is considered by many to be one of the finest games ever created. The similarities between I Am Setsuna and Chrono Trigger are instantly recognizable, and so, without research or hesitation, I purchased it immediately for £32.99. But did I Am Setsuna live up to the distinguished legacy it pays homage to? If there is one element I had to choose as I Am Setsuna's greatest accomplishment, it would be its combat and character development systems. For you old school Squaresoft fans, imagine taking Chrono Trigger's battle system and combining it with Final Fantasy VII's materia mechanics. You'll instantly feel at home here. To elaborate, the combat system in I Am Setsuna consists of choosing commands for your 3-man party using the tried and true active time battle system. But before you can choose to heal your allies or use a devastating attack, you must first purchase and equip them in the form of Spirit Knight. Each character has a limited number of slots to equip techniques, which can be increased through leveling and acquiring new equipment. What is more, if you give certain techniques to certain characters, they'll be able to work together and create combo attacks. The mixing of Chrono Trigger's battle system with Final Fantasy VII's materia system blend together so well. It triumphantly creates one of the best character progression systems to date in Square's long history of phenomenal RPGs. Unfortunately, the aforementioned mechanics also reveal many of the game's glaring flaws. The biggest offender is that the game is simply too easy to play. It's almost as if the developers purposely removed any difficulty to ensure that the player will make it through to the end. Now, whilst I will admit that many role-playing games are more time-consuming than challenging, I was able to get through I Am Setsuna without ever acknowledging common RPG mechanics such as elemental resistances and physical attributes. In fact, I was able to simply spam the same area of effect attack throughout my entire journey except for during a boss battle. I cannot stress how disappointing this game's difficulty is enough. With one of the best parts of this game being its amazing character development systems, what reason is there to experiment with different strategies when the enemies are so easy to fight? At the very least, there are a handful of post-game quests which will challenge a seasoned veteran, but it all feels like it comes too little too late. Another problem with I Am Setsuna is the game's story. It is too boring. The game fails to convey any sense of urgency and is criminally predictable. To illustrate, imagine taking Yuna's story from Final Fantasy X, but then strip away everything that's interesting about the world and supporting cast, and you pretty much get I Am Setsuna. Early on into the game, you'll be given your mission as a mercenary who is escorting a sacrificial lamb with the paper-thin excuse of, "It will calm the monsters down." Needless to say, there's a lot more to this trial, but you won't learn anything more about it until the very end of your adventure. Seriously, you walk into one of the game's final areas, and one character turns to another character and says, "Hey, why don't you explain the plot to us now, huh?" None of the game's twists leave a good impression, and you are not given enough time to fully appreciate their impact. Unfortunately, I cannot say I Am Setsuna's other design elements help to compensate for its weak narrative. A majority of towns and NPCs reuse the same models, making them all feel the same and lacking in uniqueness. The repetitive use of cute and cuddly snow monsters make the world seem non-threatening, despite constantly being told that it's in a state of crisis. And finally, whilst I Am Setsuna has a lovely piano-based soundtrack, I often felt it didn't add enough to add personality to the characters or the settings. Square Enix has long since abandoned many of the gameplay elements which made them so popular in their past AAA titles. However, over the past years, we've begun to see them come back in the form of new games such as Bravely Default and Bravely Second. I Am Setsuna valiantly tries to pay tribute to the phenomenal Chrono Trigger, yet falls so far behind its source of inspiration. Currently, I Am Setsuna sells through the PSN store for £32.99. If you're still curious and wish to try it, by all means please do. Hopefully the game will do well enough to encourage Square Enix to try again. However, you could just as easily save your money, see a movie, go grab a meal, and then spend whatever's left on the vastly superior Chrono Trigger, which is available on PSN, Nintendo, Google, and Android platforms.